All right, y'all, welcome back. Thank y'all for tuning into our last episode, talking about how we're going to fix All-Star Weekend and things. A lot more good conversation on the way for you guys, including one right now. We're going to talk about load management, which is a big issue in the NBA as well. There's been a lot of talk about how many guys have been sitting out a whole lot more teams recently. As always, we see videos of, I flew my kid across the country to watch Steph play, and Steph isn't doing whatever, all that kind of stuff. So, trying to find solutions to that and discuss just what could be the next change for the NBA as they go about this issue. So another good conversation amongst others. We have the NBA tier list discussion to have as well as getting more in depth about the Lakers and things going forward. So a lot more good stuff on the way for you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I'll run this intro again as we do, and we'll go from there. Yep. So here we are. Very, very excited to get into the conversation. There's been a big issue with the NBA as it's been going on, continuing to build for a few years now. And in regards to load management, guys are sitting now more than ever. Guys are missing big chunks of the season and missing games that were supposed to be key matchups and all the case. And fans and coaches and whoever are all alike are frustrated with this, movement that has started in recent years. So looking at solutions to it, Alec, where you want to start with that? You have any ideas for how the NBA can go about the load management issue they have right now?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit tricky because it's hard for you to say whether or not like a player is lying about whether he's fit to play or not. Like we had that very challenging situation with Kawhi Leonard when he was with the Spurs.
Right.
That really sticks out in my mind as far as the team doctors clearing him and him saying his body wasn't right. And I tend to lean the side of the player as far as knowing if their body is right or not fit enough to play. But we do get a lot of guys sitting out in a situation where if this was a playoff game or a game they needed in the standings, they probably could play. So I think it may be a challenging thing to negotiate, but I think incentives in the contract for 75% of games played. Maybe you're not eligible for awards unless you've played. I know that they already have a certain kind of limit, but maybe you up that limit a little bit more to be eligible for the awards, which are also incentivized. I think they get additional awards for achieving like all NBA and that kind of thing. So I think probably upping the game limit for reception of those awards, as well as I think it's possible to shorten the season a little bit if that's really something. I know that the league cares about money, so like the more games, the more butts and seats, the more money they're bringing in from TV deals. But if you shorten it, I feel like no less than 60 games. But
can I throw out an idea that may not have to do all of that? Something that I've been thinking about, and again, I was thinking about just we've seen the moments like I mentioned at the beginning about the fans that fly across the country or the fans that save up for all year long to get to a game when their favorite player from across the country is finally showing up in their arena to see them, and the players decide to sit that game and whatever the case may be. Something that I thought of was, is there a way for players to, to make it somewhat quotable, to be active while inactive? In that, if a player is not going to play that game, but he's going to be in the arena, can the player sit down before the game for 30 minutes and do a meet and greet? Can the player do something interactive with fans where, okay, we're not going to get to see him play, but we went to the game and I got to take a picture with them. I got to stand with them and got signed ball, or wherever the case may be. Something where it's like, okay, you guys are here. Instead of there been regional Lakers, we talk Lakers a lot. There are times when LeBron doesn't play and you see him on the sideline, happy as can be, laughing with AD all game and all the case may be. Right. You are here and we want to see that joy. There are fans that want to be involved in that however they can. We get a chance to even just shake your hand real quick before a game. That can make up for you not playing in that game that night. So I think having interaction in that regard could be a good first step. I don't know exactly how you would enforce that. I think having players interact with the fans even when they aren't playing in games could be a first step that won't have them have to adjust the schedule, whatever the case. It's like, okay, even if you're not going to play 82 games, for all those games you're missing out, fans still got to be around you and interact with you, and they may not got to see you play, but they flew across country and shook your hand, which is an opportunity they would have never got. So that still could work in that regard. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I do like facets of that idea. I think a lot of times when you have like meet and greets, those are kind of more like a VIP type experience where like you have to like pay for that level of access to the player, that kind of thing. So
these days are already as much as they are at times. So tickets already are as much as they are at times for certain games, especially with your athletes. So if you're already paying $200 or whatever to see LeBron, and then LeBron sits, if that ticket would have dropped from $200 to $75,
right,
keep that price as it is, but now you get to meet them and for half a second and get a picture and go about your day. So that could be
part of it. Like, I feel like a Republican when talking about some of this stuff, because it's like I wish the guys took a little bit more pride in the game. Basically, like what Anthony Edwards was saying, though. So less Republican-y, but like what Anthony Edwards was saying, where it's like guys are what you're saying. Families are sometimes save up enough, like they only can afford to go to one game out of the entire season, and they're bringing their kids to see LeBron play for the very first time, maybe the only time, and then they're sitting out. Like, guys, I wish guys would take more pride in playing and performing for the fans as well. Like, maybe part of the fans and the media is to blame for why guys are only caring about the playoffs or only caring about rings or whatever. But I feel like we can't forget that ultimately it is largely a performance art. Like, it is for entertainment for the fans everywhere. And you're playing towards an ultimate goal of winning a championship, but that's not all that matters. So yeah, it's hard because I don't know. I know hitting guys' pockets is a major way to incentivize, but that's not necessarily going to incentivize everyone. And it's hard to gauge whether or not like guys are really hurt or guys are just wanting to sit out. But I do think that your idea as far as a meet and greet would be a good one. But then I feel like it's an idea that guys wouldn't be too happy about either. Like, I have to give my extra time to.
Oh, yeah, exactly. If you
I know.
either play or sit over there and shake hands and kiss babies.
Yeah.
If you have enough energy to go over there and do that, you can go on and play. So if you want to do that,
I'm with you. Like, I think it would be cool. Then you get the disgruntled guy. What do you say?
I was gonna say, even if that results in, hey, I'm gonna suit up for 5 minutes, play the first quarter, and dip. Fans want you on the court for any moment. So if you're even out there and play for just a quarter, great. But if you're gonna sit down and not play at all when you could have, like you said, there, if the situation permitted, you actually could have gone out there and you decide not to, sit down for 30 minutes. These fans have been dying to see you all year. Meet the fans for 30 minutes and then go be on the sideline or wherever else.
That's another, I feel like that's something we may have talked about briefly before. That I felt like if you are like 80% or whatever, like play half the game or whatever, like play limited minutes, but don't just sit out the entire game. Because like you're saying, like fans want to see you at some point, like on the floor. So like maybe you're not playing your full complement of 36 minutes, but you're playing half of that. You're playing 18 or whatever. Because like a lot of times they're coming for you, the stars. They're not coming for Juan Toscano Anderson or whatever. Like, no shade to Juan Toscano Anderson, but you know what I mean? Like, they're coming for the marquee names, most likely. That's why they're having to pay extra money to see the marquee names, and then you're not suiting up. So, yeah, I think maybe, like, for guys, like, if you are whatever, 80% or whatever, you still play a portion of the game. I think there has to be, like, a clause in there or something as far as if you are severely injured and need to sit, like, you won't be affected with a fine or penalty of any kind. But if you are sitting games that you could have potentially played, there should be some kind of consequence, and whether that's a consequence of having to be more engaged with the fans, like you're saying, or whether it's
And
hitting
that's
your incentives in your contract. I don't know, but
yeah, and I've been thinking about. I'm like, I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, it's a consequence if you want to be a consequence, but the game is entertainment. These fans are the ones that I want to fully go Republican. They're the ones paying your bill, whatever. But they are showing up for you and do help your brand and whatever the case is. These guys all, as they become superstars and trying to be the moguls, whatever beyond that, wanting to make sure that their image is as good as possible. So we're trying to build that up. You don't want to have groups of fans that are always against you, because whenever you go to their city, you always choose to sit out, or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, I think having more fan engagement in other ways for guys that decide to sit down, it doesn't have to be anything of any major physical labor. You can sit down in your chair, sign a few things, and go about your day. It's not like you're doing something that could put you back in harm's way. You're interacting with the people that wanted to see you, that don't get a chance to see you often.
Right.
They're still paying for their ticket to go in and be in the arena anyways for you, and they pay high price assuming you're going to be there. And the ticket were sold assuming you're going to be playing anyways. So if you're not going to be playing, you interact in some other way, so they get their money's worth and let them go about their day. So even if the game is not fully up to par as they may have wanted, at least they got their moment, and the season can continue on. You still get your 82 games, wherever the case may be, and go about things that way. So. I've been trying to think more as you have, discussing about where the flaw is in that, and I haven't thought of one that's big enough to say, okay, I see why that actually doesn't work. So for now, I think that'd be a great solution that we'll see if somebody catches wind of and tries to implement.
I know the league wouldn't do this, but I feel like take the game where people thought LeBron was going to break the record, like against the Bucks, but he broke it the previous game against Thunder, and then he just didn't play against the Bucks. Like with that kind of game, I feel like maybe not a full refund, but part of your ticket should be refunded, because people paid
high dollars,
close to six figures for some of those tickets.
Correct.
And then he showed up to accept the honor, like in the first pre-games shit, and then didn't play a second of that game.
Right.
So like, I would have feel like I got ripped off, like I got scammed essentially. Like I paid so much money to see.
But if you paid six figures, went to the game, even though he didn't play, I got a chance to shake LeBron's hand the day he got the award for breaking the record. Like that still would mean like that's a major moment. So it's like I still think that works.
If they had that in their contract that you have to do fan engagement instead if you're not going to play, maybe that would work. Maybe that would work.
And you get to keep the date. You keep the season 82 games long, wherever the case may be. You can have guys make sure they maintain their health, wherever the case. But we get to make sure our fans are satisfied in some way as well for paying the top dollar, as you said they do. And again, 30 minutes is not like it's some long thing. You're sitting down for 30 minutes can fly by. Especially for guys that have been in the spotlight for as long as they have and are used to sitting down for a second and then going about their day. So if you are not playing the game and you show up to the building, you got to do something. I know there are times when.
What if guys like don't travel with the team or like don't show up?
That's a reality of the situation, and honestly, that'd be something that they have to figure out. But for times when you have LeBron and AD traveling with the team but not playing, you have Steph traveling with the team but he's not playing. Let them sit down for half a second and say hello. If they don't travel with the team, then they don't travel with the team, and let them be home and do whatever. But if they're in the building in some kind of way, let the fans benefit from that for the opportunities that are there.
Also, one last thing, I like the idea of not a hard rule, but just kind of as a philosophy, like for the star players to not sit games where like it's an away game and you only play in that city once a year. Because, like you only play like the opposite conference like 2 times a year. Right. You play your same conference, I think 3, in your same division 4 times.
Right.
So, like the cities where you only go there once a year, if you're not hurt, like don't sit out. Like just like as a philosophy, not necessarily a rule, but like those are like the cities where people don't get to see you, like your home city like gets to see you 41 times a year or whatever.
Right.
Those cities get to see you maybe once, maybe twice throughout the year. So I feel like you should want to put on a show for those fans that don't really get the opportunity to see you very often.
Yeah. So maybe that's where the slight adjustment to what I'm saying could be. So maybe for home games, you don't have to do for every home game that you miss. But for away games, if you're traveling with your team during away games and you miss a game for injury or whatever, and you're in the building still, you have to go in and just say what's up to the people for 30 minutes. So not for all the home games, but so even in that scenario, if guys are traveling to a city for the one time a year and they decide not to play, they still can have some kind of engagement with the people that wanted to see them when they were there. So I've been trying to think of more flaws to what I'm saying. What you're saying has only added to it. So we'll make sure this posted, and maybe we'll see if this is actually a good idea or if we're just in our own heads right now. But I think it for now it seems like a good solution that allows the league to stay for the most part as it is. We'll see what other adjustments can come of that. I think other things with regards to load management that you want to talk about real quick before we get out of here.
No, I don't think so.
All right, then that's it. Another great conversation for you guys. Let us know what you guys think about what we said. Definitely something to think about. In regards to the NBA and things that they are facing right now. In regards to this load management issue, and definitely some things that I'd love to see implemented going forward for the fans and all of those alike. So good stuff ahead. As we said, we got a couple more episodes for you guys, a couple more discussions for you guys. Our tier list is coming up next. We're very excited to get into that. So definitely some fun things going into that one. We're going to see how teams rank going into this last stretch of the season, as well as looking at a little more in depth with the Lakers as well, and Russ, who just left to the other side on Alex Clippers now. Over there. So a few things to talk about there. Think of tuning in again. Like, rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff for us. And see y'all in a second. Peace.
Deuces.